This is the BMW Z4 3.i, an early 2000 modern classics. And yes, this is a 2003 model. I'm your host Mauro and get straight into this review. These cars were produced from the 2003 up to 2008, and it got some slight redesigns at around 2006. And also there was a coupe version of this car with an interesting M engine. One interesting thing about this car is that this car was actually produced in America. And yes, if we're in Europe and or this car were actually shipped from the factory in USA to Europe. Yes, it was just one factory building it in USA. There were just two motor options, 2.5i and the 3.0, that actually this variant of the car. After a couple of years they introduced the 2.0 just for the European version, and that was just cause the CO2 emissions. The owner of this car actually fitted this Roadster with also a hard top, giving it more versatility also in winter. Well, this car is driven only in dry weather and sunshine days because it's actually a pristine 2003 model with just 70,000 kilometers. The design of this car is actually aging really well, and today we're actually going and looking after a modern classic rather than an old car. This is a 20-plus-year-old car and actually starting to go up in value really fast. And for a pristine model with just 70,000 kilometers, you are looking at a price from around 25 to 30,000 euros. You are also able to order this Z4 with the SMG 6-speed automatic. Well, this is actually the older 5-speed automatic that were fitted in these cars. Even being just 4 meters and 9 centimeters long with a front bonnet extending in the front, this car is actually comfortable to drive, and actually I have the space to sit in and drive it without any problems. And actually you are sitting pretty low, so the windscreen is actually over my head and actually have a pleasant drive when you are driving without the roof. One of the design features about this model was actually the turn signals incorporated under the BMW badge on the side panel. This car is fitted with the optional 19s, 265, 30, 19. In the front there are also 19-inch wheel with a slightly narrower size, 235, 35, 19. The door handles are pretty basic and standard design. And yes, you have a flush finish without the window arch, just like any Roadster should have. We have also this sweeping tail design on the back. The radio antenna is actually pretty basically designed, and not just like in my Spider that when you turn off the radio antenna just goes in and goes flush away from the car. This is just a standard radio plastic antenna mounted on the rear wheel arch. The interior design is actually pretty standard for this class of BMWs from the early 2000s, but the steering wheel is making sure that this car stands apart. The boot design of this Roadster is actually pretty decent, and you will be able to fit actually two carry-on sized trolleys and go on an adventure, weekend adventure, or actually the whole week. And it's deep enough to put longer items inside. The double exhaust with that straight 6 inline give you that amazing sound. Even if you have a button inside to actually open the boot, you have an additional door key handle to open the boot just like that. In 2006 they introduced the Z4M Roadster and Coupe variant. And yes, they got the actual S54 engine known from the E46 M3. This 3.0i inline-six has 228 horsepower. The design of the front headlights were actually pretty standard. And yes, you had the option to include the xenon lights with the sprinkler washer, so you could wash your headlights. Today we are looking at the new BMWs with that overly extended grille. And I don't like it. This is kind of really great and flush design, and it's aging really well to making an amazing modern classic to purchase. Even if this seat doesn't look that they have much side support, they're actually pretty good. The most common problems on these Z4s from the 2003 up to 2008: clunking steering wheel. There are also actually a lot of problems with the coolant loss and also defective roof, oil leaks and faulty airbags. A malfunctioning convertible top has been reported to be a common 2003 BMW Z4 problem. And if you're in the league to get this car, make it your secondary or third car in your family and drive it through the weekends or early mornings just like me. Don't get me wrong, this is a small little car with some serious power, and even from today's standard it actually handles pretty well, but make it your secondary or third car in your family and drive it through the weekends or actual early morning Mondays. And yes, also take note that this car ended production in 2008, so limited spare availability for this car will be actually extending as the year passes. So some parts of the body will be actually impossible to find new, and actually will have to search for used parts. Said that, don't forget to subscribe because these videos take so much time to edit and work on. Thanks for watching and see you on my next one.